audience failure did Neil Marshall direct?
Hi, welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to be talking about the LAIR. And first of all, Happy New Year 2023. Yes.
Sawasdee Pi Mai. That's what we say in Thailand for Happy New Year. Sawasdee Pi Mai. So from Chiang Mai, Thailand, today we're going to be talking about the LAIR. Did you say that already? That's what we're going to talk about today?
I did not. I don't know.
Okay. Well, anyway, today we're going to be talking about welcome to our channel. Smash that button and subscribe if you can to help us out. We have very few subscribers. I mean, I see some people watch it, but then they don't hit subscribe, and it doesn't take that much, but that's wishful thinking on my part. So smash the button and hit like, and that'd be great. Because we're just it's an experimental channel right now. We just kind of got started out. We're putting out a lot of content, but we haven't really gotten it going that well yet. So anyway, that's our sad story for today. But today's movie that we'll be doing a shallow dive into is The LAIR, Neil Marshall's The LAIR. And I believe it is 2022, right? Yeah, it is a brand new movie. So I'm a big Neil Marshall fan, so I can have a lot to say about it. But first, we'll let my sister talk about it, because I don't think she even knew who Neil Marshall was or is.
No, I'm the amateur. So the amateur will speak for a very short
period. The amateur fan, yeah. As a fan, I'm a fanboy, but I'm the professional fanboy, I guess, and she's the amateur. Okay.
Yeah. So it was a fun film. I enjoyed it. It passed my fast forward test. I didn't fast forward it. I almost did, but I actually enjoyed it. I thought the effects were actually pretty good. I thought the monster was pretty scary. To me, it was kind of funny. I thought it was kind of a comedy, even though it's not supposed to be. It was very cheesy. The acting was super cheesy, which just made me laugh. So I enjoyed watching the I hate to say it, but sort of bad acting. I mean, so that made me laugh and thought that was fun. And then it was just a fun sci-fi film. I love sci-fi, so I love a good military sci-fi too, so that was fun. And I kept seeing fun. But and then my favorite person, the really only great actor, or I thought he was a good actor, his name is Hadi Kanjapur, probably saying that wrong, but he played Kabir. I thought he was funny. He made me laugh out loud. So a couple lines that he said. So yeah, I liked it. It was in fact, I would watch it again, and I would actually want my kids my teens to watch it with me, because I thought it was a fun film. So yeah, that's my take on it. Oh, and also I looked it up. The amateur, I learned from Gary, the professional fan, a spaghetti. It's like a spaghetti, not a spaghetti western. No, wait, is that wrong? Oh, I'm wrong. But like, does it have something to do with westerns? No?
It could, yeah. It's spaghetti. It's kind of a spaghetti style, kind of a low budget. Even though like you said, the effects are pretty good, but I would still put this in I don't even know what the budget was. I would still put this in like a medium budget or even heading to the low budget area for today's kind of movies, right? It wasn't definitely this is, go ahead and finish what you're going to say though.
Oh, I have no idea. I think I was reading something about it and that came up, and I was like, oh, I know what spaghetti western is. So I have no idea how it's
spaghetti western, not Spaghetti western.
Yeah.
So yeah, spaghetti. Yeah, definitely spaghetti western style, because it's kind of like loose and loosey goosey, and I mean Tarantino tries to make those kind of movies, just kind of like just kind of loose and not real, they don't look real formal, right? They're kind of like loosely structured and everything. Now this definitely had a structure to it though. Like I said, I'm a Neil Marshall fan. I've probably seen if you're not familiar with Neil Marshall, you might be familiar with some of his movies, like Dog Soldiers, The Descent, which I think is his biggest hit, The Descent, where the girls go into the cave and meet similar type creatures as in the LAIR, except they're even creepier in The Descent, because they're all like white and stuff, but they're down in their cave spelunkers, right? And they go down spelunking, and they meet these things that live down there. So that's a creepy movie, and it got very high. I think that was one of his more critical hits. Then his worst one, it's like he's got best director from like the London film people for like, I think maybe Descent or one of those things. And then he's got his worst movies like Hellboy 2, which I actually kind of liked. And that was, and he said he didn't even want to do it, Hellboy 2, but he did it. He probably did it for the paycheck, right? And he said he liked the idea it was going to be a kind of a straight horror movie rather than like the Guillermo del Toro type Hellboy. So, but it got horrible reviews, and I think he won an award for being worst director of the year or something like that for that movie. I think there was a lot of Hellboy lovers who hated that movie so much, right? And plus, it didn't have Ron Perlman or anything in it, so I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's definitely a different take on Hellboy. So yeah, and I think Guillermo says he's gonna come back and do Hellboy. But for his Neil Marshall, he did like two of my favorite Game of Thrones episodes. He's done a lot of TV directing, and then he hadn't done a until he did The Reckoning, which was done in 2020 with the same actress, Charlotte Kirk. So I think they started a production company together. He did Doomsday, he did Centurion, he did a lot of movies about 10 years ago, around the first 10 years of the millennia. And then he hadn't done it until he did The Reckoning in 2020. He hadn't made a feature film in 9 years. So a lot of these movies I've been watching are all fairly old. I mean, I started watching, I think Dog Soldiers was the first one I watched, which has really impressed me because it's about these again military guys. He loves this military thing, right? He's got this whole, and he's not even a military guy himself, which I thought was interesting. I thought he'd like born in England, Newcastle, England, and he just took up making movies with a Super 8 camera when he was young, and then he went into film school, and then the rest is history, right? And he just started making movies, and but he always had this. He always makes the horror sci-fi type stuff, and Dog Soldiers is not really a sci-fi, but he's like these military, what would you call them? These special ops guys are out in the woods doing war games or practicing, and they run into werewolves. Where dog soldiers, right? Werewolves. So it's a kind of another low budget kind of, but a very, very good movie. I mean, I thought it was great. And then he did another low budget about Roman military guys, during Hadrian's Wall, Centurion, which I thought was a good movie. And then he did Doomsday, which is kind of a Mad Max type movie. It does all these. He's not a very highly rated director, right? Even this movie itself got like 40% from the critics, right? But I thought it was a fine film because I was screaming at this television, I mean, when they put the hand through the guy's head, and like, holy shit, you killed him too? I can't believe you killed him. Because I would just get to like that guy, right? I mean, it was just an all around fun movie, right? I mean, that's the kind of movies he makes. It's like, and I got to go back and see The Reckoning now, which is the first movie he made with this actress. She reminded me a little bit of Charlotte Kirk, a little bit of that lady in The Hunt. Remember that girl in The Hunt? It's that better looking. It's that more of a glamorous looking girl, but that kind of a tough, and that funny look in their eyes when they're gonna, let's get into some action here, right? And so it was just a, like you said, a silly goofball movie, but it was very entertaining. And that's the way Neil Marshall is. He's like, I was watching this thing on YouTube the other night, and Leo, your neighbor, Leo Carrillo, right? Leo Carrillo, the actor, the old actor from the 30s. He came on and he does this little poem on Hollywood. And the thing he said, funk, bunk, genius, splendidly blended, trash and pretty lights, fantastic to see, Hollywood. And I thought, well, that's Neil Marshall to a T. He's like funk and junk, but he mixes it together so nicely. You just can't stop watching, right?
Yeah,
once you get into, I mean, like you said, the first couple scenes, I'm like, but I know it. But see, for me, I said, I know it's Neil Marshall. I know this is going to go somewhere, right? And it did, right? And again, it's to me, it was more of one of the Thing spinoffs, the Thing. The creatures themselves, as a sci-fi, you don't really learn much about these guys. you know, it's like the old Outer Limits show. It's just, you know, like the producer kept saying, so I don't care about all that crap about the characters and all that stuff. So just tell me what the bear is. I just want to know what the monster is going to be for the week. I don't care about all that other stuff. And if they have a good monster, then he says, okay, he gives it the green light. If he doesn't have a good monster, he won't give it the green light, right? So the monsters are pretty scary, right? They're pretty invincible and pretty frightening. And then he loves to, and then we get to the gore. He loves his gore. The two episodes of Game of Thrones he did were the unbelievable. I mean, it was a gory show anyway, right? Game of Thrones, and his episodes are super gory. You know, he did the big he's doing some of the big battle scenes and stuff, right? And I'm like, you know, and those I'm going, holy crap. And then I look at the end and said, this looks like Neil Marshall. And then I look at the end of the credit and go, holy crap, it is Neil Marshall. Because that's his style, right? You know, this tearing off arms and, you know, slicing off heads and stuff into people's chests and pulling it out, you know, crazy stuff like that, right? And that's just it. That's just his trademark. And this is like the last two movies. He's just kind of making a comeback, I guess, because he's been doing a lot of TV shows, I guess, making a living doing that. Like he's done Hannibal, and I know there's a whole list of TV shows he's done. So, but anyway, I think that the audience reviews is like 77%, almost 80%. For me, as my big bad glass review, I'm not going with 40% that the critics. I'm going to go up to, because it's low budget, so it's not like like one of these great Hollywood movies or anything. But I'm thinking at least 70%, right?
Yeah, at
At
least
least 70%. I give it, because it was entertaining as hell. You didn't want to stop watching it to the end. You want to figure out what the hell is going to happen, right? With these poor guys, and they definitely had them up a tree. You know, you get them up, you get your character up a tree, and then you throw rocks at them, and they did that, man. And then you got them down from the tree. So I mean, it was perfectly, you know, like I said, it wasn't as loosey goosey as a lot of the spaghetti westerns are. It was pretty well structured, you know. So yeah, the spaghetti western. But I think what they talk about in the spaghetti western, which I've been kind of like learning over time and watching these things, is that a lot of it has to do with the community of the town. The spaghetti westerns, the community is like always torn between, and you know, but what's gonna, you know, because it goes back to High Noon, which I think has inspired a lot of spaghetti westerns. You know, what is the community going to do? Are they going to go against the good guy? Are they going to go with the bad guy? You know, that type of stuff, right? And in a way, this kind of did that, didn't they? You know, they didn't know if to go with the pilot. Is she telling the truth? Is she not telling the truth? So I think that's where they're talking about that whole communal, the way the community reacts, you know. And then, you know, then the other little traits that spaghetti westerns have. So anyway, that's as much as I can talk about. So 70% on the LAIR. I say if you like those type of movies, it is definitely a must watch. And if you like just a good sci-fi horror with lots of twists and turns and lots of good gore, I'm sure Neil Marshall is very popular at Comic-Con, and you know, I'm sure he's got a huge fan base. I know I'm one of his fans. I say see it, and so that's all I have to share. I have to share today. Any other thoughts on the LAIR?
Nope.
Okay.
That's all she wrote.
All right. Good night. Good day. And that is it from Been There, Seen That, Big Bad Glass Review. Thank you.
David Harbour starred as Neil Marshall's Hellboy. Over time it is slowly becoming a cult hit.